Imagine this. You are deep inside the earth, far beyond the reach of sunlight. The air is cool, heavy with silence. Only the faint glow of a flickering flame guides your way. Suddenly your eyes catch movement on the stone. Horses run, lions prowl, woolly rhinos clash in combat. Not real animals, but images. Painted 30,000 years ago. For tens of thousands of years, these walls have been waiting for human eyes to rediscover them. And in these caves, Chauvet in France, Lascaux in the Dordogne, Altamira in Spain, we find some of the most astonishing messages ever left by our ancestors. These are not just drawings, they are windows into the earliest stirrings of the human imagination. Chauvet Cave, sealed for over 20,000 years, preserves paintings as vivid as the day they were made around 36,000 years ago, according to uranium-thorium dating. Inside, lions dominate. Unlike later cave art that often focused on prey animals, Chauvet's walls teem with predators, cave lions without manes, mammoths, rhinos, bears, more than 400 animals in total. Why lions? Why rhinos? Perhaps these were not trophies of the hunt, but beings of myth, symbols of power and danger. The very choice of subject suggests an abstract mind at work. And then there is something subtler. The artists of Chauvet shaded and overlapped figures, giving the illusion of movement. This is among the earliest evidence of humans attempting to capture motion, animation in its most primal form. Deep inside the cave, archaeologists found torch marks on the ceiling, burned spots where flames had been raised, maybe to illuminate the art, and on the soft floor, the footprints of a child walking alongside the paw prints of a wolf. Were they together? Did the wolf follow later? We'll never know, but it is one of the most haunting traces of Ice Age life. Fast forward to about 17,000 years ago, in the Dordogne of southwestern France lies Lascaux, discovered in 1940 by teenagers chasing a dog. Here, the walls explode with color and variety, nearly 600 painted animals and over 1,000 engravings. Horses gallop. A great black bull dominates, 17 feet long. Deer, bison, ibex, an entire Ice Age menagerie. But Lascaux holds mysteries too. In the so-called shaft scene, we see one of the few human figures in cave art, a bird-headed man lying prone beside a bison with entrails spilling out, and a bird perched on a staff. Scholars still debate this. Is it a hunting accident? A shaman's vision? A mythic story we can no longer decode? Another layer of evidence comes from the pigments themselves. Chemical analysis reveals the use of manganese oxide and hematite, sometimes ground with animal fat to create paint that would bind to stone. In some cases, artists sprayed pigment through hollow bones, leaving soft-edged silhouettes, an early form of airbrushing, and intriguingly, researchers found that many images cluster in spots with unusual acoustics. Clap your hands near certain chambers, and echoes resonate like drums. Perhaps sound and image were meant to work together, turning cave walls into stages for ritual performance. Now to Spain, to the cave of Altamira, painted between 36,000 and 14,000 years ago. It is best known for its spectacular bison, painted in rich reds and blacks on the ceiling. But when Altamira was first discovered in the 19th century, scholars scoffed. The idea that Ice Age humans could create such sophisticated art seemed absurd. For decades, the paintings were dismissed as forgeries. It was only after other caves were found, equally magnificent, that Altamira's authenticity was recognized. What is striking at Altamira is the use of the rock's natural contours. Artists deliberately positioned bison so that bulges in the ceiling became muscles and shoulders. This was not crude sketching, it was 3D illusion, planned and intentional. And here too, pigments tell stories. Recent studies have traced the sources of ochre to deposits miles away, suggesting long-distance travel or trade networks, evidence that Ice Age communities were far from isolated. So what do these paintings mean? Some scholars see hunting magic: paint the animals, and you control their spirits, ensuring a successful hunt. Others point to shamanism, caves as portals to other worlds, the painted animals guides or guardians. Still others see storytelling, myths, memories, even teaching tools for young hunters. There is also growing evidence for something more abstract, that these paintings mark the birth of symbolic thought itself. Neuroscientists studying brain scans note that creating and interpreting such images requires the same cognitive networks we use today for art, language, and metaphor. In other words, cave art was not just decoration, it was a revolution of the mind. In all three caves, we see the fingerprints of humanity, literally red handprints. In Chauvet, negative stencils at Lascaux. At Altamira, palm marks where artists pressed pigment to stone. These are not anonymous works. They are signatures across time, proof that Ice Age people wanted to leave a trace, to say, I was here, I imagined this, I gave shape to the unseen, and the evidence continues to grow. DNA fragments from cave soils tell us who walked there. Soot marks show where lamps once flickered. Microscopic pigment analysis reveals how colors were prepared. Piece by piece, science lets us hear whispers from 30,000 years ago. When you stand before these painted walls, even in replicas, you feel something stir. These people were not so different from us. They too dreamed of animals, stories, powers greater than themselves. They too felt the urge to turn imagination into image, to leave something that would outlast them. 30,000 years have passed. Empires have risen and fallen. Languages have been born and forgotten. But the lions of Chauvet still prowl. The bison of Altamira still thunder. The great black bull of Lascaux still charges forward. They are messages carved not in stone, but in spirit. And across millennia, they still speak.